Okay, Michelle here in Ghana. I want to continue a conversation I started with. I don't know if you'd call it clarity or addition to the information or what, but I'm talking particularly the resident permits, right? The resident permit, the process is frustrating. No joke about that. I had a conversation with someone recently who is also having a problem with how things are done here. I don't know if the powers that be realize how difficult it is on the ground to sort out your right to live here. Some may say you don't have a right to live here. Once you move here, if they didn't want us here, they tell us not to come here. But once they invite you here and you come here, you have a right to live here. You buy your property and you so on. You shouldn't be worried about losing your home that you build or the home that you built here because you cannot navigate the necessary documentation or whatever procedure or process needed to navigate to have your status here as a resident. Now, I one of the issues, I'm sure I mentioned it in the previous video, is that there really is no readily available information that will counteract or validate what is told to you on the ground when you're looking somebody and you're going through all these agents. There's nothing. But my daughter did find a website, and we did go on the website and see how much they are charging for the medical, right? My problem is not just costing. My problem here is the whole process of doing what I want to do. In Jamaica, I know about under the table payments to get things done quicker than it's normally done. Government slow on everything in Jamaica, right? If you are going to renew your license, your car license, your driver's license, there is a way to pay to get it done. Let me tell you what is the major difference with Jamaica where that is concerned and here. In Jamaica, somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who you can just give a couple thousand. I figure that price is astronomical now in Jamaica, now that I think of it. But you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Or it's a family friend that you know who works in the department, whatever. But you have to know the person. And you pay that person to sort you out, right? Here, the norm is to pay somebody. It's like there's no other way to do it that is comfortable. And I'm not stressing the comfortable because I can be comfortable going into a place and just sitting down. I'm always reading. I have my phone because I'm an ebook person. Now my eye, it's better on my eye and all of that. So I'm always reading. So I can go into the office in Jamaica, and I have done it. And I sit there for hours in the morning. I take time off work and I go in and I drive my car on the ramp. They check under it and they do their stuff. And drive, go on the back and test the brakes. They do all of those things. And I've sat through it. Right? The person who tests your car eventually takes it from you, and they do the driving and they do the check, and then they say it's done. They put your document through the window, and you wait until the process your updated license, and you go about the business or the car fitness, right? I have also been in situations where I remember there was this car I had, a Nissan March, and it was just deteriorating faster than I could repair it. But the time came for renewing. And all I did was pay somebody. Another teacher said to me, I know this guy. Call him, tell him, so and so give me your name. And him say, okay, come such and such a time. And you pay money and you go about your business. It's a choice. Here, your choices are limited, right? And that is my contention. My contention is there should be an option where I know that if I go into this office, I can just do my medical, they pass on the pair, give me my receipt, and you carry it to whichever immigration officer you need to, so that they can give you your resident permit. If there's such an avenue here, I would like to hear from others, right? Because where I'm standing, I was told you have to go into Accra. Now, right at this moment in time, how viable it is for me to get to Accra with the rain and the condition of the roads and so on. You're looking at days, 2 3 days of trying to get that done. You can go into Accra and get your thing done. I don't know if they actually do the medical in the building, offices or whatever of the, or on the compound. I've never seen the Ghanaian Immigration Services building. I don't know how the property is set up. So I don't know if they have a medical facility on the ground. You go in and you go to the medical facility, then you go into the agent's offices or what. I don't know. I cannot get to Accra right now. And you get to Accra, you don't know if you have to do your medical today, then come back another day. You just don't know, right? There's nothing that gives you the information. You can't depend on the information of the agents, because they're not going to give you information that would require you doing it the correct way. They're going to tell you all sorts of things to ensure that you do it with them and through them, right? So that is my contention, not just the pricing, the options. I would like the option that if I want to pay the thousands of dollars, I do it. And if I want to do it the correct way, go in and do my medical and hand in my documents and get my permit and go about my business and pay the regular fee, because you shouldn't have to pay an agent's fee. You shouldn't have to, unless you choose to use an agent, right? While I'm clarifying my concerns, I want to point out, there was a comment. I appreciate every comment. I'm not criticizing the comment. I'm just clarifying a point that was made. And another comment too. I think of another one. But the first one I want to clarify or talk on is, a point was made that in Jamaica, 200 years down the line, your family still owns the land. That's no longer the case in Jamaica. That's no longer the case. People have lost the land that has been in their family for hundreds of years in different ways. Sorry, squatters' rights are there. I don't know how much it has changed since I left 6 years ago, but 6 years ago is a drop in the bucket considering I've lived there all my life. But if it's changed, you can let me know. But I've known persons who lost their land in their family for hundreds of years because people squat on it, they weren't paying attention, and such happened. Another way is, persons who purchase land must pay property tax. You have to pay property tax in Jamaica. You can do it quarterly, you can do it biannually, you can do it annually, but you have to pay it. One of the loopholes with owning property, if you do not pay your property tax and somebody else has been paying it for 7 years, they can get your land. So, whereas here, because one of the reasons why I didn't return to Jamaica was the cost of living. The cost of living has risen way above my head. I'd be drowning. Don't know about anybody else, but I'd be drowning. I'm not one of those individuals who lived in the USA for years and years and years, and I have accumulated pension and I have accumulated enough savings for the switch, from the US currency to the Jamaican currency can make a difference. I am not. I lived hand to mouth, basically, in the sense that my salary still went towards paying bills. It stretched longer, but I couldn't send back money to fix my property, the house I owned in there. So it's in the same condition. If I went back, I would be taking up the same big mortgage, struggling the same way to get anything finished on it. I had not even plastered the outside properly. The areas of the home that I lived in would want to be fixed, plus added to make it comfortable. So when I thought about the switch, Do I go back to Jamaica or do I come here? In fact, a girlfriend said, try not come back to Jamaica. Try not come back to Jamaica. It's not nice. Right? The prices was scary, very scary. I can tell you that. Being someone who left in 2019 and the prices that I saw in 2019 and was living hand to mouth in 2019, I was scared to go back to my country with the prices I was seeing. Right? It's not a case where I could quickly send my land and maybe buy a small piece in one of the hilly countries and do the farming and build one little small. Nothing like that was an option for me. So it was a more viable option to send the US here, which is good. At the time, I remember the first time I sent money here was 15 to the dollar. Right? So I could send money here, purchase the land and live. And right now, how I'm living with the incomplete house is more comfortable than I would be living in Jamaica with that incomplete house. Right? The different stages, this more. And this, I own it. I own it for 99 years, if you want to say that. I own it for 99 years. I am not going to be living for 99 years. I'm 50 odd. Right? So, even if I pray that the Most High keep me, I'm not going to keep him for 99 years. All right? It's not the era for that kind of extension on the life anymore. So, 99 years is not something that I have to concern myself with. So, whoever gets this after I'm gone, whichever of the family members, because my 2 daughters are still here, my granddaughter is here, their progeny, their children have to see to securing it still staying in the family. But don't jump to Jamaica because you think you own your land for 200. There are many ways you can lose your land in Jamaica, right? And paying property tax is something I would prefer to avoid while I'm alive. It's just an additional cost that I don't want. So with buying the house, buying the land, building the house, it's mine as is until I die. I don't have to think about property tax. I have my borehole, I don't have to think about paying water bill. I get my solar, I don't have to think about paying lights. Of course, having the Ghana lights is an additional safety net. So I would take it. Anyway, so I am saying, when you're thinking of somewhere to go, I saw a video with a girl talking about Jamaicans and they're to shape up. Basically tell them to appreciate what they have. And that is true. Appreciate what you have. You're in the country. You're in Jamaica right now. Make sure you put yourself in a position to survive without depending, or your food source depending on anybody else except you. Must have options. And people are running from the US. The amount of persons that are getting visas, citizenship, passport, and so ready for their children and themselves to go back to Jamaica. Right? And it's not just from the US. You have people doing it from Canada. You have people doing it from the UK. They are heading back home. Right? And they now have the power of the dollar for their country behind them. So they're not playing. So they're buying up all these properties, acres and acres of land in these nice areas in St. Thomas and St. Mary and all those areas where you have good, nice land, especially if they're near the touristy areas, right? And they're going to thrive there. So, you have your stuff there, hold on to them, make use of them, right? If Ghana is your choice, it is your choice. You just have to come here and bear your mind, say you have to deal with a little foolishness them that they have going here. Because it is foolishness, right? But it's just another way. If I went back to Jamaica, I'd still have to deal with a lot of these issues. I'd still have to deal with builders. I'd have to deal with poor workmanship. I would still have to be dealing with people overcharging me. I would still have to be dealing with, it's just that in a Jamaica now, I know the price of certain things. Well, not anymore. I used to. But no, the prices that they're quoting, I ain't going to pay them. I don't want to pay them. Right? So here, economically, it's better for me. I don't have a US dollar buffer. to carry me through. But those who have it, your choices, you have a wider range of choices, right? Think about what you want for yourself and make those decisions in the know. Don't assume, don't jump to conclusions, sorry. Just make sure your information is factual. I love being here. I love the fact that I will own this for 99 years. I love the fact that I can get up and go outside and dig up some cassava, cut piece of cane, pick a tomato, pick up a pumpkin. I can count the amount of pumpkins I buy since I got here. And it's equal to me going outside and picking up one off the ground. Right? And I purpose I told myself, say, I'm gonna just throw the seeds all over when it didn't let it on there run. So while it's there running, right now, I see some pumpkin on the grounds outside, and I'm looking at least 6 pumpkin that I'll eventually can go out there and pick. Everybody have different things that they focus on as their comfort, as their need, and so on. And it's not easy anywhere at all. It's not easy in Ghana, it's not easy in UK, Canada, it's not easy in any Caribbean island, not just Jamaica. But you have to know where you fit, right? So I'm hoping that this thing they have with the permit becomes easy. I'm hoping to become a citizen eventually, and I know that has its own trials, which reminds me that one of the things that I saw as unfair in the recent citizenship thing, they were telling you that you must own something here, proof that you are committed to here, whether investment in business, purchase of property. Somebody was saying also bank account. I don't know if bank account would be called. It's a tie, definitely, but in terms of contribution, well, I guess in a sense it is. That's just me thinking aloud. But there were persons who just paid the 25,000, handed in their, sent in their police records, and that was it. They got their citizenship. They didn't own land yet. They had no ties here, really. Yeah, maybe I'd visited some time ago, but that was it. And by the time they came in and was ready to purchase, they're already citizens, right? So there are persons who would want to get citizenship before they buy anything here, and that's a good thing. That's a good thought. That's a good goal. But that only can benefit those who can afford it. Yeah. So being able to afford certain things is really important here. And if you don't have the strength of the pocket, you just have to slide by like me, myself here, right? But anyway, right now I don't want to get melancholic. I want to go on the road and do some things. Watching the rain, but I'm hoping we can just grab a taxi, go quickly do what we want to do and come back, and then meet up some people to get some things, because yeah. So hope you got some clarity either from my mention of Jamaica or my mention of the permits and what I am having a problem with it. Right? Michelle here in Ghana. I'll see you in another video.